All right, let me start with some of the specifics. You confirmed Judith Exner's story that she was involved with your uncle at the same time she was involved with John Kennedy. Indeed, say that your uncle set her up with the president, right?
Well, what we're saying is that Sam Giancana manipulated a lot of people around him for his own personal needs and his own personal gains. And what we're saying is that a lot of the people that he manipulated may not have been aware of his desires, but he certainly used these people to his advantage. And what we've said
Including
is,
the President of the United States?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He felt he had a promise extracted from Joe Kennedy and Jack Kennedy himself that would allow him to conduct business in the future kind of without the pressure of the law. And as we've said in our book, that Sam Giancana felt that that promise was broken, and obviously the double cross.
And that once messages were going back and forth between Sam Giancana and the president through Judith Exner, the president still didn't back out of that.
No, what we say is that Judith Exner was actually carrying some papers to Sam as a way of placating Sam Giancana. Jack Kennedy knew he owed Sam Giancana. Promises were made, and we've corroborated the fact that Judith Exner did carry these papers, but they were FBI documents, unlike what other people have said.
And you allege that he really orchestrated all three of the deaths I mentioned a moment ago, that of John Kennedy, that of Robert Kennedy, and that of Marilyn Monroe.
Well, orchestrate is probably a bigger word than I'd like to place. What we're saying is that he collaborated with the CIA, that the mob was kind of a junior partner of the CIA. They had worked together at many places around the country and around the world, and this was exemplified with the assassination attempt on Castro, that the CIA had contracted with Sam Giancana to eliminate Castro, and this relationship continued for many years, and he participated, provided individuals as part of the assassination.
Give me, and I'm going to, because I think some of the accusations get broad, but tell me the motives as briefly as you can for the killings then of Kennedy, the two Kennedys, and Marilyn Monroe.
Well, the motivation came from several positions. First of all, the mob, and Sam Giancana specifically, felt that he was double-crossed by the Kennedys. Here's a man who had helped them not only financially through their campaigns, as well as helping around the world with the CIA. He felt that they had double-crossed him on a promise of continued help. Likewise, we talk about the CIA feeling like they were betrayed during the aftermath of the Bay of Pigs and so forth. So there were a lot of people around Jack Kennedy who felt that they were not living by what other people felt they should be.
And the Marilyn Monroe and Bobby Kennedy situations?
Well, Marilyn Monroe was probably the most tragic victim. She was in a position that she knew too much. The CIA had used her in various ways over the years. She obviously had relationships with the mob over the years. Likewise, she was implicated with the Kennedy brothers. And when she got to a point where she felt that she had no other alternative but to blow the lid off the whole thing, she became a threat.
Where the accusations get broad, you say your uncle said both, this is talking about the Jack Kennedy assassination. You say your uncle said both Richard Nixon and Lyndon Johnson knew about the whole thing, having met with your uncle several times in Dallas immediately prior to the assassinations, that the Dallas police force made sure it was so loose down there on the day of the hit that a 4-year-old could have nailed Jack Kennedy. I mean, why isn't that the self-aggrandizing claims of somebody, a mobster, and why should we believe it?
Well, he certainly wasn't a man prone to bragging. Here was a man who was the undisputed head and power of the country as it related to organized crime. He never boasted in his life. His deeds put him in that position.
Sam Giancana, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
We'll
My
be
pleasure.
back.